Hello everybody, Travis here for Tpull's Corner, and we've made a new deck using Fateful Handoff. You draw cards equal to the mana value of target artifact or creature you control, but like all black cards that are draw spells, it has a price. An opponent gains control of that permanent. Now there is a way. I only have one copy of Archfiend of the Dross, but I've put him in these type of decks before, where if he's about to lose the last oil counter, you would lose the game. So with a little bit of timing, you could arrange it so Archfiend of the Drost is about to lose a counter. You give it to your opponent with Fateful Handoff, so you draw cards and then your opponent loses the game. But we've also done it with multiple colors with Solkanar the Tainted, where I brought Solkanar down. I did all three of the good choices, and then you give your opponent Solkanar the Tainted with Fateful Handoff, draw 5 cards, and for the beginning of their end step, there's only one choice available to the opponent. Exile Solkanar and return it to the battlefield under an opponent's control, which would be you, and you get control of your Solkanar back. And it was a fun deck, it was good to play, but my opponent killed Solkanar an awful lot, just because they didn't believe I was going to ever let them have it, I think. Not that they expected the Fateful Handoff. That was probably a surprise when I managed to pull that off. But Solkanar is just too big a threat to allow to remain on the field. So I wanted to try Fateful Handoff again in a way that I could actually use the card more often in a match. So this is what I came up with, mostly involving artifacts. We've got Geistwave, 2 copies of it, so I can bounce a permanent back to the owner's hand. That way, if there's something that I give them that maybe I want back, I can just bounce it. In that way, sort of negates the sacrifice cost, right? If we're drawing too many cards with Fateful Handoff, I got a couple of Triskaidekaphiles so that I can have no maximum hand size. Also gives me an alternate win condition with having exactly 13 cards in my hand at the beginning of the upkeep. For removal, we've got 1 Go for the Throat, 3 Sheoldred's Edict, 1 mini board wipe with Path of Peril, 1 kind of removal with the 5-drop Meteorite that deals 2 damage to any target. This also adds 1 mana of any color, which can give me the white mana if I need to do a bigger board wipe with Path of Peril. We've got a -5/-5 on a target creature with Might Stone and Weak Stone. And we've got 2 copies of Invasion of Ravnica, which we can exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls so that it isn't exactly 2 colors. So we've got a variety of different ways of removing things in the deck. 1 copy of Siphon Insight as well, which when we use on the opponent, more often than not, we're probably going to be using to get land, because I need a lot of land. This deck has 62 cards. The 2 extra cards are lands. I went from 24 to 26. I tested 27 and I flooded out something horrible. For some reason, right now in Magic's algorithm, that seems to be the crux point. But I only have 9 creatures. It's still an expensive deck with almost 4.0 because I do have 2 copies of Portal to Phyrexia. But to help us get to the Portal of Phyrexia, we have 4 stone retrieval units that when they enter the battlefield, you get a tapped Power Stone token. And a Slagstone Refinery whenever Slagstone Refinery or another non-token artifact you control is put into the graveyard, either from the battlefield or put into exile from the battlefield. You also get to create a tapped Power Stone token. So between these and the Might Stone and Weak Stone, we should be able to cast a Portal to Phyrexia pretty fast in the game. We've also got, in addition to the 2 Invasion of Ravnicas, we got another battle with Invasion of Vern. To draw through our deck, we draw 3 cards and discard a card. And I've got 1 Render Inert just because since I only have 9 creatures, I figured it may be hard for me to actually hit the battles and convert them into their sorted creatures or artifacts or whatever. So I haven't really played with Render Inert yet. So I'm kind of testing it out, just 1 copy of the card. But if I say I'm blocked and I've got all these 2/3s on the board and it's not a lot of power, but I could use a Render Inert on Ravnica and get a Guildpact Paragon out of it, that's not bad. Okay, so ways that I can use Fateful Handoff. I've got Ariet's Tempting Apple. When it enters the battlefield, you gain control of target creature. So if I have to have 8 mana if I'm going to also cast Fateful Handoff. So this is going to be in the mid game. And if they drop like a 7 creature or 7 cost bomb, maybe I could bring in the Tempting Apple, take it on my turn, give it haste, let me attack with it. Then I cast Fateful Handoff, draw 7 cards, give them back the card that they were going to get back anyway. Okay, a little clunky, but it's a possibility. We've also got 3 copies of Golden Argosy in the deck. Legendary vehicle. When it attacks, you exile each creature that crewed this turn. So we could take one of our creatures, use it to crew the Argosy, and then use Fateful Handoff to give that creature to the opponent. Then when we attack with the Argosy, that creature automatically gets exiled. And then at the beginning of the next end step, it comes back under my control as the owner. So, a way to sort of cast a spell, draw some cards, but not really pay a price for it. We've also got in here 1 Jin Gitaxias for various shenanigans, and 1 Swiftgear Drake, and 1 Phyrexian Archivist, both of which allow you to put a target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library, which I could use against mill decks, or maybe they've got graveyard recursion and we don't want them to get access to a particular card in their graveyard, that kind of thing. Anyway, that's the concept. So we're going to go straight into a battle, and we ask everybody who's new, go ahead and subscribe while you're here. And if you like the twisted way we think, go ahead and hit the like button. Whether you're new or an old grizzled veteran that keeps returning to watch our play. We must be clear, this is not ranked play. This is a jank deck, so we're doing jank, not rank. Well, that's kind of disturbing. So this is a very cheap costing counter deck where the counters are going to build up pretty fast. And normally we can't scale, so we kind of either need some removal, right? One way or another. We could bounce it with Otawara. Yeah, that's a big hit. And Shieldred's Edict actually doesn't help us because they'll sacrifice something else other than the Beast Caller. Yeah, they kind of got the perfect opening, perfect mana curve. Using pretty much everything in their deck. Emptying their hand by turn 5. We missed a land drop, but they did not. 2 extra land cards in the deck and we still missed a land drop. And I don't see how we get out of this now. I mean, we can bring down the meteorite and hit him in the face and we're done. Alright, we're missing land drops, we're not getting removal. We need the cards to be dealt in a different order. course, when we only have 9 creatures in the deck, we also need to come up against something that resembles something besides cheap aggro. It's very strange to hear that Magic has a sorting algorithm that tries to avoid matching certain decks up against other decks. And then, of course, oh, we get to go first twice in a row. They must really be thinking we're going to lose. So they should match like decks up against like decks. So a deck with only 9 creatures, and they put you up against something that has like 26 creatures. And all we can think of is that there are just so many aggro decks that the algorithm at some point has no choice. Because it has to find some opponent for each aggro deck on the other side. What do we want to do? Let's start there. And likes the next card they have. So this is a delay kind of deck, is it? Let's hope time is more on my side than it is on theirs. We're expecting some counterspells at some point. And let's go ahead and... I think we can toss... Actually... Let's toss the tempting apple. They're looking at the stone retrieval unit again, even though it's already stunned. Oh, I think they did a spell too many there. I'm going to pay for that. And we're still just setting everything up. Perfect timing. We wanted an excuse to put that out. We go ahead and crew the Argosy with the Retrieval unit. We might get a chance to actually get the switch of the battle over. Okay, so here's the nice little combo, is we get the exile of that creature, we get the Slagstone Refinery to give us a Power Stone token every time we exile an artifact with Golden Argosy, and then we get another Power Stone token when it comes back into play. It's almost like I planned it. And do we care about the Defiler of Dreams? No, we do not. Why? Because we can afford this now. Oh yeah. In the meantime, what else do you have? I think we can afford to get... it's lands. I was going to say, I think we can afford to get something other than lands, but never mind. I know I should go ahead and do the Gargosi trick again and get another token, but I'm just going to do this. If they have a braid, we've got a lot of tempting targets now for it. That is not in the braid. Wrecking Crew? Seems like a good idea. What else can we get? I feel like I should have the Karn's Planeswalker in here with this kind of combo going off. And usually it's around this point that they see I have an engine going and they can't stop the engine, plus a portal to Phyrexia that they scoop. Father of Dreams seems like a good choice. We're going to sacrifice this, copy the spell. We don't really care what they have. We don't want to put anything on the bottom of the decks. Those can go over the head, these can go straight to the face. And now we exile 2 of those. We get 2 Power Stone tokens. And when they come back into play, we'll get even more Power Stone tokens. And now we just have an embarrassment of riches. Along with a new Mage Ring. And no, we just want to cast it for free. Get to draw a card. Give me the tokens. If you only got single pointer removal, that's going to help you much there. Okay, they give up the ghost. Just for grins and giggles. look at the little emblem we get in Karn Living Legacy for -7. Tap an untapped artifact you control, deals 1 damage to any target. That looks like it could be fun with this deck. Three lands and a way to pay for all 3 removal spells up front. And I don't think I've ever gone first this many times in my life in a session. They're doing a lot of lovely setup, which is not what I expected. I expected the creatures to come out right away. And maybe Arena did that to me on purpose, right? Here's a deck that requires a lot of setup, so I'll just give you all your removal spells up front, and your opponent won't ever have any creatures for you to remove. Token goes away. Hellish Norn goes away. Well, that's kind of gross. Okay, so since they used their green, are they unprotected with the Rot Priest now? They made sure to go get a land, but that's green. I think we just use our board wipe here. that wasn't going to be a problem anyway. Well, we may be stuck here. We've got almost all the pieces together. That could be a big problem for us. That wasn't what I wanted, but it'll still work. It'll still work, right? Because next turn we can cast the apple and do Fateful Handoff. Plus, we can do this now. And so if they don't have a way to remove one of us, we've got all versions, all parts of that engine to create the Power Stone tokens. So now we can cast pretty much any artifact that we need to. Never mind. Wait, they got rid of one Power Stone token. Okay. They may have made a mistake by removing 2 oil counters here when they did, because they don't have a way to add stuff on now when they proliferate. Alright, we bring down the apple. We take control of you. We attack with both of y'all. Fine. And then we give this back to them. We draw 4. And I think we can go ahead and get 3 life back here and get another Power Stone token from the refinery. There's a limit on how much that seems to have helped us out, right? We drew 2 lands and a replacement for the card that we used for draw a card in the first place. That was not what I wanted. Okay, so let's give them the refinery. Put down Invasion of Ravnica. Exile the Bloated Contaminator. And I feel like that's all we can do that turn. They finally exile Elish Norn. Do they attack? They do. They attack with 2 different creatures. We only can block with 1. But we can kill the Stalker. need to get rid of the Overseer. Ask and ye shall receive. Alright. Render Inert gets us another creature. And we can bring down the unit. We're still kind of on the defensive with 8 poison tokens. And them being able to cast, well, with having the Virtue of Strength out, they can cast anything that they draw. Just like that, they have 4 attackers. And a way to plus them up with counters every single turn. Thankfully, them targeting them that way, that's not a spell. So that doesn't give us poison counters. That may be tempting fate a little bit, huh? Does that work for sure that way? That's the spell. This is the ability. Yeah, okay. No worries. Excellent. Let's just throw that in the bottom of their deck. They can't exile that. And now we got 4 blockers. Oh, they don't even create the knight, they just go straight to the pumping up of everybody. That's good in a sense, it means they're not going to attack this particular turn. Oh, hello. I did not expect that. They just wanted to draw cards? They thought they could do something by drawing cards immediately? But they didn't draw cards. Very curious. Oh well. Yeah, now you're drawing a card. Yeah, keep digging. Nice. That was a fun end. How many cards did I still have? 3. I went through almost half the deck. Alright, let's try one more. I like finding these cards like Fateful Handoff and just trying different experiments to look through all of the expansions and say, okay, we tried the obvious, we did Fiend of the Dross, we did Salkanar. Let me stretch, let me go in and look one more time and make sure that I force myself to leave those 2 obvious cards out. What support is there in the rest of the cards that can still allow me to use this thing? That's already a 3-drop, which Path of Peril is not going to help me with. And that gave me a 4-drop. None of this is helpful right now. So maybe it was a mistake to throw the extra Karn in there. That's what I get for trying to have more fun. This is kind of like a aggro deck, but with 3-drops. Again, not the most helpful thing. And they've already hit 5 lands and I'm stuck at 3, so that's pretty much game over. With my opponent having hexproof as well, I'm just way too far behind. So what good is 4 gonna do me now? I can block the one single one on the ground. Never mind, can't even do that. Yeah, it doesn't get better than that. It would have been different if I'd gotten any other removal card. You know, like, that actually doesn't help because of hexproof, right? Yeah, I'm dead. I need Karn to come up later if I'm going to have fun with Karn. Which maybe that's really just a different deck. I could have those other cards in there with Karn, but I couldn't fit it in there with Fateful Handoff at the same time. There's like basically 2 different deck concepts there. They're just overlapping in one of the engines that they can both take advantage of. Okay, here we've got a tiny bit more flexibility by having the 2 different types of removal cards up front. So even though these are, we want to wait for turn 8 for that particular combination, we've got a chance with the couple of removal spells up front to last long enough. We just can't be starved for land again. We also need an opponent who's willing to actually be here and make a move. y'all can just sort of skip ahead. I'm kind of stuck here. Windows took away the free editing software that was on it. And when I tried one of the power editing software things, it crashed my computer every time I just booted the thing up. It was so bloated. So overwhelming with the libraries that it came with. I'm searching for something else that I can start to learn how to edit things with. Smoter smote himself. You are unworthy. Go away. Let's try and find one more battle here. Not the greatest start. Arena's back to giving me the most expensive card in my deck up front. Ouch. That's a nice start for them, not so much for me. Let's see if we can take some of their stuff. Meeting of the Minds. I think I just take the land, actually. I need to be able to power up what I've got. Never mind. Yet another perfect opening hand for them. Getting through almost everything that they have right away. Leaving not much left for me to be able to do. Not missing a land drop either. And I didn't get my board wipe. And I can do that. And I'm dead. Still didn't miss a board wipe, or a board drop. And an Urabrask. I suspected they'd be able to empty their hand. And we needed about 4 different cards there. This is one of the times when I think it would be nice. Let's go ahead and see if there's any other kind of matchup that would be anywhere decent. It would be nice to have a format where you could choose a jank, format where it's not going to be a turn 4 or 5 kill, full of nothing but things that are going to bum rush you really, really fast. Just because to play cards like this, you've got to get up to a point where you can spend 4 mana just to cast a spell without worrying about dying because you didn't use that mana to cast something else that turn. And we're in trouble again, right? Because we got 2 of the 3 in our first couple of draws. Ah! Shoot. Clicked wrong. I didn't mean to click right then. I wanted to move the mouse first, but evidently my finger was trigger happy. And that alone should be enough to knock me out of the game. But we can use Render Inert on this, right? Yes, we can. They've never seen Render Inert used that way, I take it. I never have either, I just thought of it just now. Alright. We'll go ahead and get rid of one of these. Ouch. Yeah. Might be one copy too many of, yeah, sure, we'll throw that back into their graveyard. Or back into their deck. Yeah, the one misclick. Maybe we would have had a chance if I hadn't misclicked. Will that stop anything? They can kind of keep bum rushing me right now. Or they've got enough mana. If they have a single removal, they can just pay the ward cost. It's only 2 ward cost. They haven't missed a single land drop the entire time, so they can afford anything they want. And notice that they only had... Isn't it interesting that I've got 9 creatures and these opponent decks only have 1 removal card, but they always have exactly what they need when they need it. Nothing but creatures and the one and they give thank you arena. You give me 3 golden Argosies and 2 fateful handoffs, as if to let me know what I shouldn't be doing. And I think even if I'd gotten rid of one of those with Sheoldred's Edict properly, I think I still would have been in a lot of trouble with that draw. So let's go in and take a look at the deck. I think I included certain things, like I included Karn just as a funsy, as a lark, but I don't mind having it in a different deck with the Slagstone Refinery and having that kind of engine creating. But it doesn't work well with the Fateful Handoff theme, so I should have known better. I think possibly, although the Golden Argosy has a nice little thing that we can do here with our creatures, I've only got 9 creatures, so probably that we could lose one of the Argosy, say? And maybe it'll handle it a little bit better after that. I'll keep experimenting with it, but that takes us down to 61 cards at least. And you saw where even though I had 26 lands, I had 2 extra lands. Almost every match my opponent would not miss a land drop, but I would. So that, of course, that's common to me no matter how many or how few lands that I draw. That's been my experience on Arena almost since I began, since I came back to the game 3 years ago. But let me know in the comments what you think of the idea. Is it just too clunky? I know it's not good against the quick aggro stuff, and I'm not proposing to ever take it into ranked. but I feel like it could still be improved. But we'll leave it there. And just a little something extra, way to just some ways to manipulate with this card, that maybe with the tempting apple, maybe with using your own creatures with Golden Argosy, just things that you haven't quite thought of before that might fit in somewhere in a little niche move somewhere to surprise somebody during a best of three, maybe to sideboard in or something like that. Let me know what you think. Anyway, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a good one.